Hello, everybody. Welcome to Galaxy Brains, where that's not the tryptophan kicking in. It's a lifetime of sorrow and regret giving way to just one moment's peace. Denny will begin in East Rutherford, New Jersey, where rather than keep his starting job, Zach Wilson decided to never log off. Can you fill in the people on the details?
It's a curious approach from Zach Wilson, who played worse than maybe any other quarterback in history in Week 11 against New England. 2 total yards for the Jets in the second half against the Patriots. He was then asked, of course, did you let the defense down? Because, hey, the Jets defense, once again, as always, played really well against the Patriots. And Zach Wilson had a very curt, no, I didn't. No, thank you. And that cost him the job. The Jets were ready and willing to turn a blind eye and say, hey, look, I know this kid's playing terrible, but we're going to keep going with him. We're going to keep going with him because he was our first round pick last year. And we're getting by. Okay, he's won a few games. But no, Zach Wilson messed it up for himself by answering that question. It was, a pretty bad question, but there are ways to answer it and keep your starting job. Things like this. We didn't play up to our standards. There you go. You have your starting job, Zach.
Still have your starting job. And what it really proved is that he doesn't know 2 playbooks. He doesn't know the actual playbook. And he doesn't know the playbook after you play one of the worst games by any quarterback all season. You're supposed to supplicate yourself, both before the media and your teammates, beg for forgiveness, maybe get choked up a little bit. Just talk about, listen, I've seen Jamarcus Russell game film, and this was worse than that. I will own up to that. I played against Sam Ellinger this year. I made him look like, Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
We're going to be better, though. We're going to make adjustments. We're going to move forward. Instead, no.
He could have kept it going. Instead, it looks, Mike White is going to get the job. Speaking of quarterbacks who are not great, Pat, tell us about the latest with our favorite, Galaxy Brain favorite, Russell Wilson, and how maybe the NFL analytics are treating him and his touchdown total in 2022.
Well, yeah, Denny, there have been some youths on social media led by, we believe, someone named Mr. Garrett Lee on TikTok, tracking whether Russell Wilson's number of 2022 touchdowns will exceed the number of toilets he has in his mansion with pop star Ciara. Currently, there are 12 toilets. There are 7 touchdowns. Garrett has tracked very carefully. There have not been more toilets, so the number of toilets are holding steady, but so are the number of touchdowns, Denny. And while this may seem frivolous to some, might seem like a joke to some, maybe like good content to others, you actually think it's a triumph of modern NFL thinking? And frankly, I agree. Can you take us through that?
Well, I frankly, I don't see how one can, for sure say that Russell Wilson is a disappointment in Denver without comparing his touchdown total to the number of toilets in his mansion. Without that comparison, you really have no basis for saying, hey, Russell Wilson is good this year or Russell Wilson is bad. But you can point to that and say the toilets are still greater than the touchdowns and say, oh, hey, the analytics are telling me Russell Wilson not been good this year. So again, yes, like you said, a triumph of the numbers in football.
Denny, there's actually been a big variable change here, though, that I don't think even Garrett Lee knows about yet, where a local contractor by the name of Peter Carroll has actually, he's building 4 new toilets in the mansion for Russell Wilson and Ciara. And he said it's for no reason at all. It said he doesn't think it'd be the funniest thing ever if Russell Wilson had more toilets than touchdowns. And he's not, quote, just being safe, even though he thinks the number of touchdowns will finish below 12 toilets. He just thinks the house, frankly, needs 4 more toilets.
Speaking of extremely funny developments, we have a not funny development with Kadarius Toney in Kansas City. The promised slot option for Patrick Mahomes in a decimated receiving group in Kansas City. No, not happening. No more after he hurt his hamstring in Week 11 after about 6 snaps against the Chargers. Nevertheless,
a career high 6 snaps, it must be said.
And it made us think, here at Galaxy Brains, we're always thinking, and it made us think back to Week 10 when Kadarius Toney caught a touchdown. And you may have seen his touchdown celebration included faking a hamstring injury. And we at Galaxy Brains say, maybe you rethink that, in the future, if Kadarius Toney ever scores an NFL touchdown again, and really who's to say that would happen? Maybe don't gimp into the end zone, holding the back of your leg after suffering from a hamstring issues that have lasted, I'm checking my notes. Yes, 2 years. A 2-year hamstring injury, and you're joking about it, Kadarius. I just think there are better ways to celebrate a touchdown.
Yeah, I believe what this is known as is flying too close to the sun. And after making that joke, Kadarius Toney's hamstring immediately turned into a hamstring that had been in the sun in the Mojave Desert running a marathon. And then, like, he was trying to play a game of football, and the hamstrings were just barking. And Kadarius Toney, I mean, I don't know what he's a young man. He's 23, 24 years old. Maybe he needs salt pills. I don't really know what he needs. He needs something for the hammies, though, Denny.
It's concerning because, you know, we're used to seeing the big receivers with these hamstring issues. We're used to seeing, you know, like Julio Jones, whose hamstrings are bigger than my entire body. That, you know, and he has trouble. He's always had trouble keeping those babies healthy, right? Well, Kadarius Toney, not a big guy, and yet still is struggling. At one point this year, he had the rare double hamstring injury. So I think, look, if you're a Chiefs player watching this, I know the Chiefs players watch us a lot. You go to Kadarius and you say, here are some touchdown celebrations that you can use in the future.
Not the gritty.
Right. But hey,
extreme force on the hamstring with the gritty.
That don't involve pretending that you're hurt after being hurt constantly your entire 2 years in the NFL.
So, Denny, Kadarius Toney needs something for his hamstrings. You need something for your house. Enter Black Friday, a little sales event known nationwide in America. Sometimes, you know, it's more like a prison riot than a door-busting event. Right. But we both have things we need to buy. We both devoutly, I mean, I'll be up at 2:30 a.m. I actually don't go to bed on Thanksgiving night.
Yeah, who does?
So I can get to TJ Maxx before sunrise. What are you planning to buy? What are you planning to buy on Black Friday, Denny?
TJ Maxx before sunrise. That's a party. Okay?
That is a party. You meet some great people in that line.
You know, you won't hear that in mainstream media outlets, but it's a good time.
It's a real good
I've
time.
never had a complaint. And so here's my plan. Okay, and I thought I should mention this on Galaxy Brains. And if you want to go ahead and do this at your local big box store, you can go ahead and just give me credit. You go in at 2:30 in the morning when the doors open, and you buy every single DVD player in the place. Okay. You know, and I don't know, maybe they have only like 20, since, you know, people are not watching a lot of DVDs these days. Maybe they have a stockpile of hundreds. Well, you buy them all. And here's why, Pat. Technology, as we know, is cyclical. And one day the Zoomers are going to want to watch DVDs, and you know where they'll go when they want their DVD player? Right here, baby. I will have an entire house full of unused DVD players that I'm ready to sell. This is a Galaxy Brain.
A house that will be empty with plenty of room to store DVD players after your wife and, of course, 2 children leave you.
That's a sacrifice that we have to make sometimes.
That's also just analytics. Fewer people in the house, more room for DVD players.
More sales, more money. I mean, come on. Like, it's like economics 101, and you won't hear this anywhere else.
So while you're clearing out every DVD player, you're going to need some DVDs, of course, too. That means every copy of Fletch 2, which for some reason was released on DVD in extremely large quantities, every copy of American Sniper, every copy of U.S. Marshals, The Fugitive, like double, you know, the 2-pack where they put the 2 movies on one. Every copy of Braveheart and Apocalypto. You got to get some Mel Gibson in there, of course. You know, always a man with the holiday spirit, and not a horrible person at all. And then if you're not getting the DVDs, the DVD player, I mean, maybe 420 markdown wigs at JCPenney, maybe 3 washer dryer sets also from JCPenney. Pretty much any product for sale at JCPenney will be a good addition to your home after Black Friday.
Right.
And we hope we've been a good addition to your hearts with this edition of Galaxy Brains. So for Denny Carter, I'm Patrick Daugherty. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll be back later.